Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to the podcast, Liberate Your Mind. I'm Kass Thomas, and this is my dear, lovely, let's say sister from another mister, Miss Karen Jones. Hello, Karen.
Hello, my dear. How are you today?
Oh, it's been such a transformational day, the first week of December. And next month will be a new year.
Unbelievable how quickly this year has gone by.
Right. And if we think about, all of the various months that have been in this year and what it is that we have actually thought about, felt like we had to do, decided that we won't do.
Right.
And in the month of December, I really love, connecting with all those things that have shown up in our lives and that we may not have acknowledged, and seeing what it is that we can be, do, have, create, generate, and receive, as they would say in Access Consciousness, right?
Right.
In the new year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really transformational time of year in the world, in different countries, with the various, wars and changes and all kinds of things. And how many people from the past have we been connecting with in this particular day, I would say. So let me just say, I know we just have, a few minutes. We're just doing a half hour. But I just want to say that, I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, right? And went to school in New York and university in New York. And at the age of 8, I was listening to French from my teacher in elementary school. And I said at the end of that year, every morning she would say, "Good morning, today is Monday. Good morning, today is Tuesday. And bonjour, aujourd'hui est lundi." And at the end of that year, I said, I'm going to go 1 year and live in Paris and speak French. Mm-hmm. So I left Boston and went to New York for university. And a girlfriend of mine said, we can do our junior year in France. Have you ever thought about going to France? And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. Yes, I would love to. So I go to France for a year, my junior year in university, and my mom comes to visit me, and she wants to travel around Europe. And so I say, okay, well, let's go to Spain, let's go to, Turkey, let's go to Italy. And the girl who's one of the girls from the United States who was there, if you go to Rome, you absolutely have to call this gal, Karen Jones. She is like my sister. We grew up together. You have to call her. So when we come to Rome, we call Karen, and she comes and meets us at Piazza di Spagna. And that was so many years ago, and we have been friends ever since. And Karen introduced me to the guy I'm married to now. Thanks to you. And then she was living here, and 10 years later, I moved to Italy. And then she 2 years later goes away and comes back to do singing, because she's an amazing singer and does so many things, and I'd like her to share that. But the moment she came back, she started saying to me, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible? How does it get any better than this? What else is possible? And I was like, oh, what happened to my friend? She went crazy. Why does she keep saying that? and she talked to me about access consciousness, which I've been engaging with for almost 20 years. And so, with my husband for over 20 years. And so she's no longer living here in Italy, but how much of a contribution have you been to who I am and where I am and with whom I am now? So thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for receiving me into your world. And you're such a dynamic personality, a dynamic soul, and you're just open your world and travel the world. I was just a catalyst. That's all.
And that's, so many people are so, I want to say potent, but also it's so interesting how, you had introduced, Access Consciousness. It's at accessconsciousness.com. You can find out about it. But in Korea, in Japan, in Italy, around the world. And of course, I have created, so many languages for Access. But and also, you were traveling with me. I love that, into New Zealand and Australia, and I came to visit you while you were singing for 6 months in Japan, and the amount of things that you have been doing in your life. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about them. But you traveled with me, running my bars, taking care of me. And when I traveled with you, this is just a third thing I want to mention. I wrote my book, 7 Steps to Flawless Communication, my first book, right? The Dancing with Witches book is the second. But it came while I was with you in the south of Italy while you were doing concerts and singing. So how many things I'm just so grateful. Yeah.
Lots of high vibe moments, high vibration
Yes.
moments. That ability to attract people that resonate with you, and that's just how we do it. We resonate, and I think that our ability to harmonically connect, excuse the musical pun I like to use, is to harmonically connect. It expands everything. I mean, those are, the beautiful gifts or blessings, whatever anyone wants to call that, of coming together and creating more, that exponentializing, as they say in Access, the energy of being together. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes. And tell us a bit about, for so many years singing albums, and you've got to check out this video we did years and years ago, Aquarius, which I'm an Aquarian, and she had me do my first music video with her, just not even singing, just dancing. And I was like, it was my first time doing this video. And now I do lots of videos, right? So it was also, so many other things. But singing for years, and now living in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yes, and after COVID, not traveling as much as you were traveling before. But
Right.
when you said that harmonizing, that, tell us a little bit about, share with us what you know about it,
Well,
Yeah.
well, we all create our own reality, and I think I learned that very young. I've always been interested in what is unexplainable, right? So the occult, or what science can't really explain, I've always been curious about ever since I was a kid. So I discovered I could sing very, very young. I started piano lessons. I come from a musical family. My father played with Count Basie, the big band, and so he's in the history books. So I grew up with jazz. And when I started piano lessons when I was like 7, and I started voice lessons when I was 13, because I already knew that I could sing, and my ability, my gift was particularly respected. Let's just say that. And my parents allowed me lessons and lessons and lessons, and I did everything I could possibly do. So literally, I resonated in that world of music and was pulled into many, many levels of that, which included pursuing a singing career in another part of the world. I didn't want to stay in the United States. After university, I got my degree in theater, but because of the, let's say, the racial atmosphere in the United States, I didn't feel that it resonated with me. Let's put it that way. And so I decided to live in Europe, because I had heard of other artists who had, other African-American artists that had made that choice and were flourishing. So I left and I went to live in Italy. Yes, I courageously left. I had a cousin who lived there who opened the doors initially, and then I did the rest basically on my own. And that's not necessarily, I'm going to not say on my own. I was literally guided, I would say, on so many levels to the right people, the circumstances, the energies that resonated with what I was trying to create, which was my, my singing career. What does that look like? I had no idea. I just knew that I could do it. I had the ability. I just needed to get out there. So I did, and I got out there and I made, I don't know, over 250 dance tunes, which paid the bills. But my joy and love was jazz, and because jazz is freedom of expression, and I think that goes perfectly with a spiritual life or a life with a higher level of awareness and consciousness. And so jazz is really my thing, because I can express who I am through jazz. So that's what I have, what I continue to do, not only in Italy, and even when I came back to the States, I moved back to Miami after Italy, and then I traveled most of Asia. I mean, a lot of Asia. Let's say Hong Kong, Seoul, Korea, of course, Tokyo, Japan, which is a big hub of jazz music. So yeah, I hope I answered your question.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm loving it too. And you also have played with, engaged with other jazz people. I know in Hong Kong you would go to sing with different musicians. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of musicians that leave their homes and their original homes and create new homes in other parts of the world. I think that that's one of the gifts of American music, is that our music is very much loved in all over the world. So that's from country music, jazz music, pop music, all of it. We're very we produce a lot of amazing artists.
When I came to Italy, we'd go to, before COVID, they would do the same things all the time, and now it's a different time. But I would go to the seaside, in the summer, in Circeo, in Salona, and every time I would go there, I wouldn't see any Americans. I wouldn't see any African Americans. The only music that they would play was African American music. It was so amazing. And I was like, I wonder what people know about the way they can get out there in the world, how they're already out there in the world, and and how would that change their lives, Yeah. I remember when I went to Kazakhstan, for example, right? And I had been to Turkey a lot. I had no idea, right? Of course, they had moved the center of Rome to Turkey, right? Years, centuries ago. But also in Kazakhstan, there were so many Turkish restaurants. And so people might feel like if they're living in Turkey, people are not really, just like African Americans in America, that they're not really, received or known or appreciated. But around the world, all over, Uzbekistan, lots of different places, so many Turkish restaurants and so many people who love Turkey and love Turkish. So one of the things that I would really, like to do with the coaching and the singing and the dancing and the is invite people from around the world also to know what their magic is. Get out of their brain, their mind, liberate their mind. We're calling that, and know what the riches are, that the abundances of their life, that perhaps where they're living, there's a a cover on it, and they actually cannot see themselves. And these with your singing, it's definitely an amazing way. But also, you're doing lots of services. I mean, I know you've done, you were one of the first facilitators of Access Consciousness. I'm sure you still do exchanges with bars, but you also do a lot of meditation work, and you're teaching people with it. Can you share with us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, a lot has changed. A lot of us will use the expression pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, right? Well, of course, during the pandemic, I couldn't travel. No one really could. And then, things kind of shifted and changed. And over the years, other than singing, of course, I've been busy I was a big part of Access Consciousness, as well as I've always been in the spiritual world. I was also the choir director at a Unity Church, which is a progressive church around the world. Yeah,
exactly. And can I just say to you, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, what he said, he always asks me when I see him, how's Karen? How's Karen? So he said, please tell her hello. So hello from the
really
founder
sweet.
of Access Consciousness to you. Yeah.
Right. So, so I've also, I've done a lot of different things. I continue to expand my awareness of the tools that Source, God, Creator, whatever you want to call that, divine intelligence, puts on my path. Because there's so many things to resonate with, and so many different ways that will work for each individual, that I think is important to keep that library open, right? So because Access asked so many questions, and I asked so many questions in turn, I stumbled upon a technique called ASH work, which stands for Advanced Spaces Healing, which is also a very lovely technique. But I guess one of the biggest things that follows my musical or my vibrational awareness is working with sound. So I work with tuning forks and crystal bowls. I do sound bath meditations every week. And I also have sound healing sessions where I pull out literally my tuning forks and my bowls. And I not only do that, I also use this voice in another capacity, which is channeling light language, which light language is really the language of the soul. And I just allow the voices to come through, and which is very improvisational, goes along with jazz. And the sounds that come through are very indigenous sounding. So I don't know what languages I'm singing, but I sing in all kinds of languages. Sometimes I see images of what they look like. Some of them are Native American. Some of them are Maori, Polynesian, African. It depends on who I'm working on and what comes through. So it's just a whole nother way of healing using sound. And I've always used my singing is also very healing. I never really knew that until I realized that there was always a transformation in my audiences. So I do that. And then I also took a course in soul regression, something like QHHT. So it's hypnosis, where you are taken into deep levels of trance, basically. Hypnotic levels, and you get to talk to your higher self, which is that part of your soul that knows everything about you and guides you. And you can also tap into past lives. So that's also something that I learned how to do. But even during one of those sessions, I actually tapped into a group called the Council of Healers that I've been channeling for a couple of years now. And I wasn't expecting it. I had no desire to do any of that kind of stuff, even though I listened to channels. That popped through, and they have been absolutely lovely and providing a lot of healing for a lot of people. And their words are kind. They are truly lovely beings of light. And they come through in a channeling session that I do regularly once a week, and then I do it for groups of people. So you can find out all about that on my website called heartsthatsing.com.
Hearts That Sing?
Yeah, heartsthatsing.com.
HEARTSTHATSING. Hearts That Sing. Wow. Yeah. And connecting with the body, right? And recognizing your magic. That's the first phase of the connecting phase.
Yeah.
The connect phase of the 7th step. So when you were saying that you utilize your voice in different ways, and are you is it the sound of the voice, the vibration? Is it a language? Is it what? Tell us a little bit about that.
I would say it's all of the above. So basically, it's like moving. It's like multidimensional, right? So it's not just this dimension. We don't live in just one dimension. We are actually very multidimensional, and you can understand that when you think about dreaming, right? So when you
Did you say dreaming?
yeah, dreaming.
That was so funny because I wanted to ask you about, when you have dreams. Sometimes you wake up and you don't remember it, but you do get, wow, what was that? What was that I was just dreaming? Tell us,
Right.
what is that? Say, go,
Right. It's like
go.
you get the feeling of it. Yeah. Right. There's a feeling or a vibration, and you're like, I can't grasp it. I can't remember it, but it was that something happened. Right. That's multidimensional. And we have that stuff happen all the time, even when we're daydreaming. So when you use your voice, which I believe is also a level of light, right? So we are light beings, right? So we are constantly vibrating in light. And when you access that light through sound, it's just a different vibration. It's another level of love, because all of this is all about love, right? So when you can tap into your voice and allow your voice to expand, then it vibrates with the light and this beautiful dance. This is like how I like to see it. And as this dance of light and sound, it expands your universe so that you're not contracted into this 3D reality that can be very heavy. You know, we get pulled into a lot of news programs that contract us and pull us into fear instead of expanding us into love, right? Which is really what we're here to do, I believe. So as you use your voice to allow that expansion, even when I'm teaching voice, because I also teach now to kids and adults, and getting people to connect to their breath, getting them to connect to their body, which is their instrument. You know, the body is your instrument as a singer. And you really want to allow that space of sound, right? And when you allow that space, it's infinite. Sound just ripples through space. And that's the effect that when a good singer is singing, that's what they create in everybody's world, because then you're allowing the light and the sound to dance, carrying the frequency of whatever it is that you're singing about, right? Um, uh, Hopefully as a catalyst to shifting and changing people's worlds so that they're not stuck in their contractions.
Wow, that is just so amazing. I think we should probably script it. So, is everyone capable of that?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now
And
everybody creates sound, so that you don't have to be a singer to enjoy sound. Even just simply humming, there have been several books written about how humming is very, very nourishing. There's something about the human voice that has been contained, right? Like even when you're a kid, they tell you, "Shut up! You're making too much noise."
exactly.
Be quiet, right? So there's this tendency to hold back your sound. I oftentimes find myself with my students, be loud. It's okay to be loud. Stop containing your sound, because we're taught not to be loud, because the power of the voice is so important. I mean, I think even in the Bible, they talk about everybody, like 600 voices, I can't remember how many, were able to use the sound of their voice to push down the wall. There was a wall that during some war, and it just the power of so many people making that voice. It's like if you're at a soccer game. I mean, the sound when everybody is cheering is remarkable, what it does into your body, right? When everybody puts their sound together and screams in joy. I mean, it's remarkable. It's that kind
Absolutely.
of power.
Absolutely. Yes, I was just at this soccer game with, over so many hundreds of thousands of people. But yeah, what I wanted to ask you, because it's so interesting, there's so many parallels, in life that show up like that. Even in tennis, I play with tennis, and it's always interesting when, just like you're saying, when we're not willing to raise our voice or to have it, you know what I mean, express itself. So if you're playing a game, soccer you were talking about, or tennis, and you serve, and you're not being completely present with it, it doesn't go over the net. And then what do you do with your second serve? You know what I mean? You have to try and get it right. But a lot of times they're like, be willing to have it go out of even the net, beyond the net. And when you're willing to do that, you actually will make an ace, service.
Yeah.
And so that, the right voice for you, or the, your actual magic, if you're willing to connect with that, how many things show up in your life that are waiting for you, that are here and waiting for you.
Absolutely.
And that channeling that that you do.
Well, I think everybody channels.
Yeah,
Everybody channels.
that was my question. So if you're talking about with the singing, connecting with you, right? Being truly connected with you. And so if we were going to be using our voice, going beyond our mind, liberating our mind, but of what we think we're supposed to say, how we think we're supposed to express it, what we think people can hear and not hear. What is it, right? That a tip, a tool that you would give people in a way to recognize their magic, like when are they channeling? How do they know?
Right. Well, your particular connection to your source, to whatever it is that makes the grass grow, whatever it is that's allowing you to breathe right now, whatever that your connection is to that, which is why I like tuning into breath. Tune into breath. Breathe in, inhale for 7 beats, hold it for 7 beats, exhale for 7 beats, hold it for 7 beats, inhale for 7 beats. At your own tempo, you can go as fast or as slow as you want, but just taking the time, take 7 rounds. What's that? 7, 7, 7, 7, right?
7 steps. I love it.
There you go.
Go ahead. And so 7 rounds of breathing in, counting to 7, holding it for 7, and then breathing out for 7, and then holding it. Okay. Yeah.
This will connect you to source. This technique, this breathing technique, just focus on your breath. Let your mind, it's going to do what it's going to do, because the mind is a terrible thing. It's a crazy thing. So just let the mind do what it does, and just, gently push the thoughts away and keep breathing. Now, your connection to source, maintaining your vibration, is the most important thing. You want to get pulled into wanting to change everybody else. You want to get pulled into the triggers that people prompt in your world. Those are gifts. When you are triggered, that is your stuff, right? So don't get pulled in. Do the best you can. Breathe and take a breath before you speak. And remember to say, I love you. Come back to love in your head. I love you. I love you. I love you. All of that other stuff, you may want to look into it. What is it that they're doing that is triggering you? Because it's your trigger. It's not, they have their stuff. That's their stuff. The way you react, the way that you are with whatever's going on, is your stuff. And this is your world. So you have to stay elevated. You have to keep your frequency high. Now, if you can just do that seven rounds of the 7-7-7-7, you will find that if you do it every day, do it even 3 times a day. If you're being triggered a lot, take a moment to tune in. It doesn't take very long. But it does change, because it's from the inside out that we live. We don't live from the outside in. Living from the outside in, you are constantly going to get triggered, and it removes you from your source. It removes you from what you truly are, which is love.
Right. That's only like 3 minutes, really, isn't it?
No, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't take long at all.
Yeah, 28 seconds.
Do more.
28 seconds, right? It's only 3 minutes. So that's great. And when you said, remember to say I love you to yourself.
Right. You're actually saying, I love you to your source. You're saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. That's the most important thing, is
Right.
that love is really love.
Is
Yes.
who we are.
It's who we are. It's our true, that's the core, is love. And
Love.
everything else is superfluous. Everything else is about this 3D reality. Okay. And yes, we came into this 3D reality to live this crazy at times, but it's also this new earth that we're moving into, this new dimension that we're expanding into. What does it look like? What do you want
Yes.
it to look like? Do you want it to look like struggle and strife and pain and suffering? Or do you want it to be from a place of love and to, okay, that we have differences. We're not going to exactly see the same things in the same way. And that's okay. But if you're coming from honoring yourself first, then the outside will shift. I really believe it. The outside will shift because of where you are. Very quickly, it's like you have two people who are at the airport, right? One person sees two people arguing. The other person doesn't see them at all. One person has an attachment to, oh, well, they're right and they're wrong. And the other one is like, isn't this a beautiful day? Gosh, I feel great. Look at the sun and look how bright it is. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And their reality, they just do not perceive that resonance because they are connecting to their source, which is love. They're moving through their heart. Now, they might even have the occasion where they see it, but it doesn't do anything for them. It's neutralized. They don't have the trigger.
And they don't have a fixed point of view about that.
Exactly.
And they're not with their mind, they're with their awareness. And there's no coincidences. This is what I always say. So if something is showing up for you and it is, activating your resistance or your, try that, what Karen Jones says. Take 28 seconds and breathe in for 7 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, breathe out for 7 seconds, hold it for 7 seconds, and do it 7 times. And that would be awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I know you've got a session coming up, and that it's just such a pleasure to have you here again. Also, I know you're on Facebook, but the Karen Jones, tell them your website again, please.
Heartsthatsing.com, HeartSthatsing.com. Our hearts are striving to sing. They just want to sing. They want to be happy. Let your heart be happy and be grateful. Yes. So love and gratitude. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Anyone who triggers you, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And see how it changes your life, and see how it opens the door for the abundance that is waiting for you here on this planet. That's awesome.
And review the 7 steps. You'll get there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Thank you so much. And definitely we'll do a Zoom with Karen so you can find out more about her magic and the invitation that she is for you to discover your magic. Okay.
I love you, Kass.
Love you too. Have an amazing day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody.